Hello everyone, my name is Kate Walker from The Incredible Canine. I'd like to share a little bit about my story. In 2011, I owned a dog who wasn't behaving well. So I started going to dog training seminars as a dog owner to learn how to train dogs, but the focus was still on my own personal dog. In 2013, because I really enjoyed what I was learning, I started training other people's dogs. And I did mostly board and trains, which are when dogs come to live with me for 1 to 3 weeks and I train the dog while they live with me in my home. In 2015, I started learning about behavioral training, which is different than obedience training. And I kind of blended the styles, which is super common in dog training. A lot of dog trainers will use obedience to solve behavioral problems. So guaranteed you have a local dog trainer that does this, and I once did that as well. The lingo would be like, we'll teach commands as a way to deepen and develop the relationship, or as a way to develop leadership, or to give the dog a job, or to teach the dog who is in charge. However, in 2017, 2 of my dogs were attacked by an aggressive dog at a public park, and they showed significant changes in their behavior due to that traumatic event. I knew exactly what my dogs needed to help cope with the stress. And it certainly wasn't more obedience. It wasn't more rules and discipline and structure and leadership. It wasn't more sit down, wait, stay, and heal. They needed more behavioral training. By 2018, I stopped blending the styles. I only did behavioral training. And that's because I realized that no matter the problems that my client dogs were having, behavioral training was more successful at solving these behavioral problems than obedience training was. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate obedience. I just don't use obedience to solve a behavioral problem. And also remember, I used to do that. I don't think I'd be as passionate about this system of behavioral training had I not tried other methods and other techniques. I learned a lot from what didn't work well enough. So no matter if your dog is too excited, too boisterous, too energetic, or too anxious, too fearful, too aggressive, no matter where your dog is on this spectrum, and by the way, I don't look at a spectrum of behavior as a linear spectrum with like too happy at one end and too aggressive at the other end, because there can be dogs that have both behaviors of like sometimes they're too excited and too happy and other times they're like barking and growling and you're like, oh my gosh, is my dog aggressive? So I don't look at the spectrum as a linear spectrum. I look at the spectrum as a circular spectrum, and behavior can be all over the place on this circular spectrum, but we're working all dogs, no matter the issue, all dogs toward being well balanced and grounded in the middle of this circular spectrum. So no matter where the dog is on the spectrum, we're working them all toward being well grounded, well mannered, well balanced in the center of the spectrum. So with this understanding that behavioral training works better than obedience training for solving behavioral problems, in 2019, I stopped doing board and trains and I only offered private lessons because I felt like the dogs had more success long-term if the owners knew more. In 2021, I was so busy, and I'm a one-man show, that I decided to create an online course with this behavioral training system so that more people could learn these techniques, regardless if I could drive to your location or if you could drive to my location. After a year of work, my online course called Behave Better Framework is complete, and I actually think it's better than private lessons for a number of reasons that I can get into later, but the videos are edited and there is written information and nothing is left out. I also created a free online dog training class, and I invite you to register. In the class, you'll learn all about behavioral training. You'll also learn the 6 limiting beliefs that may be holding you and your dog back from success. You'll learn the 3 phases of training and the biggest mistake that people make when attempting to resolve behavioral problems. And you'll also learn how to work more closely with me to significantly improve and resolve your dog's behavioral problems. I'll share the link for you to register. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have an incredible day. Talk to you soon. Bye.